All right, welcome back to another installment of Julian's Random Project. We are joined today by Lucy, who's recently picked up a new skill, and that is whittling. So a lot of kids get started whittling, people's first exposure to a pocket knife or a bladed instrument of some kind to get something done is like your handy dandy Swiss Army knife. It's some people call it their like Sunday knife because it's something they take to church to cut the hem out, fix up a hem or something like that on your mom's dress, cleaning your fingernails, all that jazz. But if you're trying to teach a kid, especially a young person, a new skill, like one of the things that she's gotten really good at is sharpening pencils for me in the shop. And if you go to using the Swiss Army knife or all of its many clones, one of the problems I think that would trip up a new user is that it hinges here, and the only thing that's holding that in there is a little bit of spring tension from a metal rod that's inside there, and then you push forward on it to defeat that, and then it's past it and it closes up. I've also seen people try to stab a tire from the side maliciously, only to have this thing bend in and cut their finger. So for fear that might happen to littler hands, I went with some fixed blade designs, and I was really pleased. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I think it's Moranaive. It's like a company in Sweden that makes high quality knives, and I was blown away at the price point. They're very utilitarian. There's nothing on the blade that isn't needed to make it be a decent blade. There's not like other fancy implements. There's nothing, there's not extra garnishing, or they're not trying to tell you that it's like a Navy SEAL super secret squirrel knife. It's just a plain and simple tool with some thought put into it. Things like having a couple different options for retention here to run this through a belt or slip it over a belt or over your pants. There's some pretty decent lockup in the blade, like it's got a nice detent, if you will, when it gets set in there. So I think that this is an awesome first knife for a young person, or especially somebody that lives or works on a farm, homestead, what have you. These are a lot of our homeschooling kids. They're carrying these knives or similar, and it's really nice. And then if you end up standardizing inside your household, if you've got a couple of kids, they can each get their own color. Some of these are very bright, so they're easy to identify and find out. If you drop that in a chicken coop somewhere, comes dislodged, you're not going to be hunting for it for too long, versus a lot of the OD green stuff. Of course, I got one in black here, but just more to show you. This I left in the packaging to give you an idea of how it comes. This is no frills. Sometimes some of the other models have a nice box, if you're trying to give it as a gift. But the ones that I got on Amazon in the larger blade size, they're so utilitarian. They're just coming in a loose bag, which also helps pass some of that savings on to the consumer. So I appreciate that. So Lucy, you want to show them some of your knife skills while I talk about the glove that you're wearing? Sure. Very nice. And so what Lucy's got on her left hand is a set of cut resistant gloves. Now, I'm going to say that again. These are cut resistant. These are not cut proof. These are not like a get out of jail free card when it comes to young people and blades, or yourself and blades. There's a lot of professionals that are using these in a kitchen setting because sometimes you're moving pots and pans around, and maybe you're dehydrated or you're not paying attention, and mistakes happen. So these help reduce that. And we're only using it on her left hand because her right hand needs to be natural for a natural grip on the blade. You don't want to have a new user coming in and for the trying to feel some of the finer details of the grip through a gloved hand. It's not ideal. So again, we're constant adult supervision here, but we're going to do what we can to reduce the risk that she takes a good chunk of her left hand off. Looking good, Lucy. And I see you're spinning it around to get the other side. Very good. And you're We want to try and match the angle. So come down here like this, like that, and then make it go this.
Get all that yellow stuff.
You can do yellow stuff, yeah, but then keep going down like that. But don't do this. We're doing this, remember? Like that. Very good. Take a break. There you go. You gonna take a break? Cool. Well, I'll put it away for you since you took your glove off, okay? So, and then it's got a nice detent. So this one doesn't have a belt clip on it, which I was fine with because I don't, at Lucy's age, she's not going to be carrying this around with her as an EDC. So one could put a bit of, 550 cord or something like that through the end of this and like hang it up somewhere. And the sheath doesn't weigh much at all, so it's not going to be falling off. I reckon your camp counselor, you could have this thing on a backpack or around your neck as a necklace, that kind of a thing. It's going to be a pretty long necklace if you're going to use it, but maybe with like a clip to detach it away from stuff. So the other thing that Lucy got a chance to use when we first got started doing this was a completely inert blade so that we could go over some of the, when the kids do goofy stuff like that, like grab the blade. But we talked about there being a sharp side and a dull side. We would pretend like, this side was sharp. I've got another one of these where we, painted the edge here. This particular blade is just for training purposes, for close quarter combat type stuff. This isn't something you would normally have, but let's say you were doing this as like I said, a camp counselor or a Boy Scout troop or, Girl Scouts, and you're going to train 20 kids a new knife skill. You might want to get something that's completely inert to start with so that they understand like holding onto the handle side, not the sharp side, and getting a good grip, places to put their thumb, for more detailed work. The concept of one of the things that Lucy learned was that if they're sharpening something and they might have a blade that is the large one just because that's what they've got to deal with. Instead of doing your work out here, you teach them to bring it in here where they've got more muscle control over the movement, and just let the rest of that blade just hang out there. But like all the work's going to be happening down here closer to their hands as a new knife user. All right, we may have some continuity errors here throughout the video, but the other thing I wanted to mention about the gloves, I really appreciate this company, No Cry. I'll put some links down in the description for you to get a set of these of your own. But they provide these in a child, in this case, it's a extra small kid size. So really, really glad that they had these, and they're just about right for Lucy's hands here. They may be a little bit big, but I doubt that they're expecting somebody as young as 6 to be sitting here whittling. And then while Lucy wants to finish up that pencil, and while she's doing that, I will show you one of the other blades that I got for myself recently. Is from a very cool company called Countycom. Let me pull these out of here. So I keep losing these knives. Everything seems to be black and tactical. So I was like, let me get something that's really nice and bright. And I don't normally do unboxings, but I wanted you guys to see how this product. Let's scoot you this way a little bit, Lucy. Have you scoot over to the left so my hands aren't in your cutting implement. There we go. This company, in a similar vein of the Mora knives, they're not spending a lot of extra effort in packaging. They sell their products to the government and for government contracts. And if you know anything about some of these contracts, if you've been involved in them before, you make a commitment to the military or a government agency that you'll provide 1,000 of these knives for a specific purpose. Or one of the first knives I bought from that company wasn't much of a knife at all. It was a titanium EOD tool for an EOD robot. I think they already had an arm that did some bit of work, and they wanted the EOD team wanted to have a really strong blade on the end of that, and so they gave them the spec, they won the contract, and they produced these. So if you have to provide this explosives and ordnance robot knife to the military, and you drop a contract and they want 10,000 of them, then if you come in with 9,998 of them, you lose. You have failed your contractual obligation, and there are penalties for that. They're usually monetary type penalties. And so if you're a wise business person, you might make 5 to 10% more to ensure that you hit that number, and now you have this overage. So maybe there might be some RMA stuff or some warranty things that you might have some that hang back behind, but the rest of them you'd like to recoup and turn back into dollars so that you can go on to the next project. And so when they have overages like that, they sell them to the public. I'll link. I'm not an affiliate or anything like that, but they're really cool guys. And I used to work just down the street from them in Sunnyvale, California. It's called CountyCom, and great guys over there. So let's get this thing open. Good. On a water break, now that you're taking a water break, I'll show them. So yeah, I really like the coloring on this thing. It's kind of a subdued thing. I think it was titanium. It's been a while since I ordered this, so maybe not. Nice chamfering there for the thumb, and then you got a traditional belt holster locking in place and a Kydex cover. But I really like their implementation of some of this glow in the dark stuff. I'm hoping that it helps me find it in the shop a lot easier than some of my other tools. And in that same vein, CountyCom's got a bunch of these other little key fobs that are glow in the dark. I'll find some B footage here. I'm gonna try to turn the lights off, but I'll roll some B footage here of exactly how bright these things are. You can read by these. If you find yourself deployed overseas and you want to have some low light conditions, I'm gonna scoot over a little bit. You can put that away. Are you done with it now? Okay.
No, I'm not done with it. I'm just going.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what you did do, and let's call it. I think you did a great job sharpening this. Thank you for helping with the demo. I appreciate you.
I might do it a little more.
You're welcome to do it some more after we wrap up this video, okay? Thank you, Lucy. You're a big help. I just noticed it is serialized. That's very cool. 135 out of 500. So they just probably did a limited run. The thing I was talking about before with some of their overages and surplus, this being one of 500 made is probably not that. I remember them saying sometimes that they'll experiment with stuff. I know one of the guys there is like, a bit of an artist, and skulls are his thing. So they'll do like they want to play around with a new material or something like that, or a new type of anodizing. And so they'll make a one-off product to just highlight that material. And I think this might've been where this one came from. So number 135 out of 500, very cool knife there. The other bit of kit that I found on their website, which has been really handy here in the shop, are just these little gear keepers, to hold screws and little bits of tools and things like that. When you're working on electronics, I've really found these to be indispensable. They've got a cage number. If you guys have worked with the military contracts, you'll know what that means and what to do with that number. So that wraps it up. If you've got a youngster and you're considering teaching them a new skill, take it slow, work through the fundamentals about cutting away from you and working closely. Try to get them an age-appropriate blade, something that's manageable, that they can hold, and it's not too heavy. Just think through some of those things, and then introduce them to the skill. It's a lifelong skill, and I don't think there's any reason we can't get started young, as long as we're doing it safely. So consider getting some for yourself or one of the youngsters that you might be teaching a new skill to. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if so, make sure you subscribe so you can get more from Julian's Random Projects. Take it easy.
I'm hanging in, there ain't no doubt, and I'm hanging tough. Over and out, over and out.